Hi, everybody. I'm Debbie Belaus. I'm the owner of Qigong with Debbie. I'm a yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, and meditation teacher. Most of my students are over the age of 65. And I always ask them, what is one thing that you are concerned about, as you're aging? And most people say the loss of independence. And I find that to be very true for myself because I'm 70 this year. And I have noticed some things in my body that are showing up that wasn't even concerned about last year. So I find that understanding how our body ages and how we can preserve that is very beneficial to what we do. So all these practices that I teach, they're Eastern practices. They're thousands of years old, and they're all about self-care and preventing. They're preventive ways of living where we can prolong our life to be healthy. We all want to live long, but how well do you want to live also? And to maintain our vitality and to maintain our good health, we have to participate in that and understand what's happening and how we can prevent certain things to exasperate. So that's what I want to talk about today and talk about, that losing independence physically. A big issue with over 65 is falling, losing our balance. And that's because we are creatures of habit in our life. And most of us just move in one direction. We're not moving in many different directions. Like if you're a walker, that's wonderful. But if that's all that you do for your exercise is walking, you're not using your whole body. So we want to move all parts of our body safely. We also want to move all parts of our body in many different directions. And that means, variety of activities. So I'm going to be coming from the perspective of teaching Tai Chi and Qigong and yoga, those activities. But I want to show you and explain why we're doing certain things and what those certain things, how they can contribute to our overall health. So I want to start with the brain. So there's a part in the brain called the cerebellum, and it only takes 10% of volume in our brain. And it's one of those things, that saying big things come in small packages. The cerebellum is a big thing that comes in a small package because it does so much. So it sits right at the bottom of your skull. And that particular part of the brain helps with balance. It helps with coordination. It helps with language. It helps with writing, learning a new activity. So it's really helps understanding that part of the brain where we get so much information. And also 80% of the brain's total neurons come from the cerebellum. So that's a lot. Again, a big things in a small package. The other thing that contributes to our balance and coordination are our eyes. So 85% of our information that we take in is from the eyes. So that's a lot. That's a lot of information that is we are processing on a daily basis. That information is coming through our eyes. So that's also going to affect, how you move in space, how your body is processing movement. The other thing is the vestibular system. That is the sensory in our ear canals. That also contributes how we move, how we balance. So when you think about it, those three things, where are all those three things situated? Where are they? They're all here in your brain. This brain is controlling your body. So knowing that, how can we help keep that tonified? How do we keep us moving? How do we move our eyes in many different directions if that helps with sensory? How do we move our body in many different directions to keep all of those neurons fired up and working for us so we don't lose our place in space, we don't lose our balance. And so simple things like the different movements that we do, especially like in Qigong, they're different. I was talking about we can get really stuck in patterns in our body. The mapping of our body gets too rigid if we are not moving it in many different directions, in many different flexions. in many different types of activity. For instance, if you're a walker, that's wonderful. But if you're not moving your body in any other way, it gets too repetitive in your body and your brain maps that. It is not able to move in other directions comfortably. It's not familiar with that. So that's how we lose our balance. So we want to move our body in many different directions. We want to move our eyes in many different directions. We want to circulate the body as well. Another big piece of this is, when you think about, because these are natural practices. So when you think about, where does water typically go? Water goes down. Where does heat typically go? Heat typically goes up. So in our own inner thermostat, we have an inner thermostat as well. If water goes to its lowest place in our body, the lowest place would be our feet and our legs. If we're not circulating enough, if we're not moving enough, all that water is going to pool because we're 65% fluid in our body. So we're 65% fluid at this age, and the rest of us is mass. What's the mass? The masses are your muscles, your bones, your skin. The rest of the body is fluid. So that means all the water's if you're not moving enough, all the water's going to pool in your lower extremities, and that's going to make for a very imbalanced person. That's going to make you very wobbly. If we have too much heat in the upper body, it's going to make us too top heavy. Again, too much water in the lower body, too much heat in the upper body, top heavy. What's going to happen? Falls. So we want to get the heat out of the upper body, especially in the brain. You don't want a hot head. You don't want a hot heart. That would mean you have hypertension, and that is a recipe for, heart attack or stroke. So we want to get that heat also out of the upper body into the lower extremities, and we want to pull up that water element into the upper body to cool it off. So our inner thermostat is working efficiently for us. So think about when we were younger, we were just doing more movements, especially really young, rolling, jumping, skipping, going upside down, spinning around. I mean, think about when you were young. That's what you want to start doing. Not that we have to be spinning around all day, but just doing certain movements that you're not typically doing on a daily basis. It's going to make a huge difference for your vitality and for your overall health, cognition, to stop memory loss, to stop that fuzzy feeling like you just can't seem to concentrate on something. All these little things I'm going to show you today is going to help restore all that, bring you back into a complete balance, not only in the brain, but also in your physical body. So those are kind of little things that I'm going to focus on in some of these movements and exercises that I'm going to show you today that you can do on a daily basis. And you want to be an active participant in your own healthcare. And that's understanding your body, understanding what works for you, trying new things. Is going to make a huge difference in how you overall feel. So I'm going to start right away with some simple eye exercises. To just repeat myself again, we take in 80 to 90% of information from the eyes. And so we're going to do these little exercises to activate the eyes. So we're getting a full view of everything around us. Again, highly beneficial for balance, creating balance. So you're not so lost when you go out. So in other words, I've been back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast, taking care of my parents, and I'm flying a lot, and the airports are very crowded. And I find myself, as soon as I get into that airport recently, I'm so overwhelmed by how many people there are. And also able to get out of the way of people, you're kind of like dodging, I'm carrying my bag. It's a lot for me lately. Those are one of the things that I'm starting to notice is there's a decline for me for that. So these exercises and I prepare myself before I go now. I do these simple exercises before I leave for the airport, during the day, has made a huge difference to kind of feel grounded, and also that I can take in all that extra input that is coming in that I'm not, used to. I live a pretty quiet life. So this is a really easy one to do. You just take your finger, and there's a lot of different exercises for this, and I show different ones, in my classes, and I'm going to try to show more as I do more videos. But we're just going to take a finger, I want you to take your other finger on your chin because we're not going to move our head for this exercise. We're just going to move our eyes in many different directions. So just having the finger in front of you, I just want you to move the finger to one side and you're going to look at it. Don't move your head. You're just looking at the finger peripherally to the side. Then come back to center and then bring it over to the other side. And you're just going to go back and forth here with your eyes. Don't strain the eyes. You don't have to strain them all the way over. Just a little bit goes a long way. So you're adding a little bit of peripheral vision, strengthening that. You're also, by doing these exercises, we're strengthening our eye muscles. We have 6 muscles in each eye, strengthening those muscles so they can do its work. Now you're going to lift the finger up and you lift the finger down. Again, we're not moving our head. We're just moving our eyes and we're moving the finger up and down right now. And then bring it back to center. And you want to have this one about like fingers width apart. So the finger's pretty close. You're going to look at the finger. You might go a little cross-eyed, so move it away a little bit. I don't want you doing cross-eyed. Now look at that finger and then look in front of you about 20 feet. Then look at the finger in front of you again. Look about 20 feet out on an object or whatever in front of you. Look back at the finger and then look out again and then back at the finger. Now we're going to bring the finger up. You're looking at the finger, don't move your head, and do a circle. So you're going to follow the finger around in a circle with your eyes, nothing else. You're not moving the head. You're just moving your finger in a circle. And then you're going to go in the other direction. So go into the other direction, circle the eyes. Moving the eyes in many different directions is going to make a huge difference in how you overall feel. It's truly amazing. Now this time we're going to bring the finger up into one corner, bring the finger down into the other corner. We're not moving our head, so I have my finger on my chin, and to then the other corner. Back to center, and then one corner to the other corner, one corner to the other corner, just moving those eyes, and then back to center. Close your eyes, rub your hands strongly together, create some warmth, place them gently on your closed eyes, and soothe your eyes from that little exercise we just did. And then you can open your eyes, release the hands, and then we come back. So that's one exercise that you can do on a regular basis. I highly recommend you do it before you even get out of bed. Once you sit at the edge of your bed and do that exercise just to prepare yourself for movement. The next one we're going to do is for coordination. Again, it's hand-eye coordination as well. We're simply going to take one finger and touch your nose, going to take the other finger and touch your ear. Then slap both thighs. Take the other finger, touch your nose and touch your ear and slap your thighs. Other side, touch your nose, touch your ear. And I made a mistake. I went to the same side and slap your thighs. Touch your nose, touch your nose, touch your ear. See, so I'm trying to change it. You want to do each side. Now, do it slowly first so you kind of get the idea what we're doing. We're touching the nose and touching the ear. And it does get a little complicated. A lot of times we end up doing this and this and this. So be careful you don't poke your eyes. But this is a great coordination. If you're having a hard time with this one, I highly recommend it you do every day because you're getting the sensation from the eyes to the cerebellum. You're creating a new pathway for coordination. And it's going to make, again, a big difference in balancing your body, balancing your brain. We're also crossing over here. We're going to do a lot of crossing over movements because crossing over, I talked about, the brain controls the whole body. So we have this brain on the, and then the body, we want to cross over the energy because what happens, the right side of the brain works the left side of the body, the left side of the brain works the right side of the body. So we're going to do things that are crossing over. So this is considered a crossover. And then as you get used to it, then make it a little, stack it and make it a little harder for yourself by going a little quicker. and work that exercise. Don't get frustrated with it, because like I'm messing up now because I'm talking and I'm also trying to, but this is training for me. I'm talking and I'm moving. It's kind of like one of these things. Can you do this too? Tap your head and rub your stomach. Do that a few times. That's one of these brain training your brain for new activity. New activity and different movements of the eyes, different movements of the body is going to make a huge difference in your balance and your cognition. So those are two things that you could easily do any time of the day, and you can do it as often as you need to. It'll make it, it will create, you'll get used to doing it, and then when it becomes easier, then you just keep stacking and making it a little bit more, a little harder. So you're retraining your brain constantly. You always want to add in some new kinds of movement. Now, one of my favorite things to do is to shake the body. Now, I talk about this probably in almost all of my videos, just about, because this is one of those quick fixes for the body. This, I was talking about, internal thermostat, getting the water out of the lower extremities, getting that heat out of the upper body. We don't want that. We don't want a hot head or a hot heart. Again, if you're too much fluid in the lower extremities, it's going to make you very wobbly. Too much heat in the upper body is really going to make you wobbly. Not good for balance. Talking about lack of independence, everybody says the same thing. I'm afraid or concerned about lack of independence. If you're afraid of that, or if you're concerned about that, you've got to do something. Participate in your activities that are going to be really helpful to keep you independent, to be able to concentrate, to be able to focus, to be able to move in your body gets dormant if we're not moving it in many different directions, in many different ways. So moving all body parts, moving all parts safely also. Being safe about what you're doing. These are safe things that we can do on a daily basis. Now, the shaking is activating lots of stuff here. We're activating our lymphatic fluids to move and pump. We're pumping our circulatory system. That in itself is major. You want to get the circulation going, especially if you're sitting too much. You can also do this in a chair. So all the stuff can be done in the chair, and you can take your time. You can pick and choose. If you like the shaking, do it more often if you really like it. If you like working with the eyes, do that more often. Be a participant. It will make a difference. We don't have to sweat and push ourselves. We actually don't want to do that at this age. We want to find activities and movement that feel good in your body, that circulate your body, that gives you more balance, coordination. And so the shaking is just one of those hacks that you can do on a daily basis to get stimulated, to get circulated, and then stop and feel a little bit of rebound. You probably feel some tingling in the fingers, and that's a good indication you're getting that rebound that I want you to feel. Another thing that we're going to do, and this is really good for also for balancing, we have a thing, so we're going to activate our hands, so you can do this while I'm talking. We have what's called proprioceptors. Proprioceptors are like little antennas on your skin, and they help you navigate your place in space. When you're born, a newborn is born, they swaddle the babies. And why do they do that? They do that because they're flaring their arms and they're flaring the legs. They've never been out of the womb. They don't know where their place is in space yet. So we keep them swaddled. And then they start to crawl, and then they start to walk, and then they start to talk. And now their proprioceptors are getting highly sensitized now. Those little antennas now are becoming very sensitized. Still keep doing this. And because we touch everything with their feet, our hands, babies are touching, putting it in their mouth. Now they're highly charged proprioceptors. And now we can jump and we can run and we can be young people. Then we get older. We're not running. We're not stimulated enough. So we're going to stimulate by tapping. We're going to tap and get our head. We'll start with the head. This is called tapping. Again, one of those simple hacks that you can do on a daily basis to keep your body circulated, to keep it healthy, to keep your whole body in highly charged. We're activating our proprioceptors, those little antennas that help us navigate our place in space through the skin. So that's what this is doing. This is what this is helping. Tapping all around the head. Tap that occiput bone. You have that cerebellum part of the brain that I was talking about, 10%. It only takes, that part of the brain is only 10% volume of the brain, but it's a huge contributor for coordination. And so just tapping it also keeps that, healthy as well. We're going to tap the throat. We're going to tap our chest. Again, your lungs, real important to tap the lungs. This is what, like an overall tonic, again, just like the shaking. Again, we're activating our proprioceptors so we have better balance and we can navigate our place in space. So try to do this again. I always recommend this to everybody, to shake and to tap. Do the pointer with the finger and get your eyes going as well. We're going to tap this other side, activating your proprioceptor so you can navigate your place in space and feel confident that you won't fall, confident that you can handle a lot more stimulation, confident that you can handle and keep your whole body energized and stimulated. We're going to tap all around the hips, tap your glutes, massage your kidneys. We're going to jump 10 times on the heels. This is going to activate your calf muscles, which helps pump those fluids up. Remember I talked about the fluids in the lower legs? We don't want that to happen. We're pumping out that, think of we're a pumping station, and we're pumping all the fluids out of the legs, up into the cooler part region of the brain. We want the brain cool. We want our heart cool. We want the heat down in our lower extremities so we feel grounded and secure. And then down the side of the legs, up the front of the legs. You can make your own tapping. Tap whatever you want to tap. That's just kind of my way I do it. And it's something I do every day. And then stop. Oh, and then feel the rebound again, similar to when we did the shaking. You should feel stimulated now. You should feel like things are moving and you're more alert, perhaps. We're going to do some more crossing over with just simply crossing our arms. You can bend your knees. And bigger motion is, the brain loves big motion. It's going to, remember, we're going to remap our movement. The brain gets too stuck in one movement, not good. We want to keep that brain activated through movements that wake up the dormancy. When's the last time you crossed your arms? Like, maybe it's been forever, I don't know. But big movement, you can make it really big. The mapping of the brain is going to say, wow, that feels really good. I haven't done that forever. And then it starts to create, you have more vitality, more energy. You're more adaptable to your environment. So simply we're crossing over, that simple crossing over. The right brain to the right brain works the left side of your body. The left side works your right side of the body. So we're doing crossing over. Something you want to do every day as well. More crossing over. Slide the hand down the inside of the arm. Slide the hand up the arm behind the shoulder, cross your chest, and then cross down the other leg. So we're crossing all of this energy to help with your right and left brain, the right and the left side of your body. It's remapping some of this new information that's coming in. The more you do it, the more the brain's going to remap. You're going to have more exposure to stimulation. You'll feel more activated. So again, simple movement, simple crossover. And then coming to the feet, we're going to ground ourselves down into that earth that is below you. We're going to ground, we're going to feel lengthened from the energy that's above you. As human beings, we live between the earth and the sky. This is our habitat. If your proprioceptors are weak, if you're not moving your body many different directions, it's going to be hard to navigate your place in space. So we first want to feel grounded down into the earth, and that energy above the crown of the head is lifting up. So you're aligning your body so it feels connected to these two energies, earth and sky. And then from here, we're just going to bring the weight on this foot and just tap your toe. And then switch. Bring the weight on this leg and just tap your toe. Bring the weight on this leg. Now this time, lift the knee up. And if you're wobbling, that's perfectly fine. The body's recalibrating itself. It's going, where am I standing on one leg? Let the brain get used to this remapping, standing on one leg. And then once you have it, try to hold it. And then if it feels pretty easy, then close your eyes and then see how you're doing. And then you'll have to remap the body again. If not, just keep the eyes open. But this simple movement is going to make a huge impact on remapping that brain. We're going to bring the weight on this side. We're going to tap the toe. Then when you feel ready, lift the knee up and stand on one leg. Now, one side typically can be a little bit more easier than the other. That's just because we're not completely balanced in our weight distribution. So again, just standing on one leg. And again, if you're wobbling, that's fine. If your body's trying to find its place in space standing on one leg. So it's activating that cerebellum that I talked about, that little piece of brain that does so much. Let's do this again. Weights on this leg, tap the toe, lift the knee up, and just notice maybe it's a little bit easier for you now. If not, we're going to activate the eyes again. So I want you to focus in front of you on one point. That's going to help also with the balance. And then release. Weights on this leg, and we're just lifting the knee up. So again, simple stuff that's going to make a huge difference in remapping your brain, activating it, waking up the dormancy that you haven't used different parts of your body and of your brain, and the eyes too, and then release. We're going to do a couple more here. Let's come over to this side. You're going to step out to the side, and then you're going to cross behind you. Step out, cross behind you. Step this leg out to the side. This leg comes behind you. This leg comes to the side. This leg comes behind you. I have my dog, but you don't want to step on him. This leg comes out to the side. This leg comes in front. This leg comes out to the side. This leg comes in front. This leg comes out to the side. This leg comes in front. This leg comes out to the side. This leg comes in front. So eventually you want to be able to do that from both sides. Back, forward, back, forward. And then the other side. Back, forward, back, forward. And just doing a couple of these will make a huge difference. And then just go from side to side. So we're going to do a little bit of a hop, something you probably haven't done in a while. Remapping the brain. Oh, I'm hopping. Oh, I remember when I used to hop when I was little. The brain will remember. You just want to wake it up and come out of that dormancy. So, you can make it bigger if you want. You can go in circles if you want, or just keep going from side to side if you want. Break it up. Break it up. Or you can even stand and just lift your knees up and down like a walking, but then add the arms, bigger walking, bigger movements. I was talking about making bigger movements. Lift those knees up a little bit higher, make the arms a little bit bigger. We can also do windshield wipers, big movement, wake up the brain, wake up the eyes. Take this arm, I want you to look at the hand, bring it all the way behind you and look behind you using those eyes. Bring that hand back down. Lift the other arm all the way up behind you, look behind you, and then look in front and let it rest. Both arms look up. Let's take the arms behind and forward. Looking up, behind, and forward. Big movements. It's going to make a big difference in how you're feeling, how you're walking, how you're activating yourself, how you're moving through life, through space. Then just turn the head to one direction. Look at your eyes to the other direction, back to center. You're going to look up. You're going to look down. So now we're working the ears, moving the ears from side to side, moving that sensory organ of the ears, opening up. So again, if your head never moves in many different directions, again, you're going to have a clog up in the head. The eyes are going to be strained, always pointing forward and nowhere else. Again, it all helps with it inhibits balance. So that's why we move the eyes in many different directions. We're going to move our body in many different directions. That's where these practices are so helpful. If Tai Chi, they're different movements as well. They're usually slower and more steady movements. I have lots of videos on Tai Chi. They help to reorganize the brain, learning new moves. It's like learning a dance. They're movements that we don't maybe typically do, and they're slow and they're smooth and they're very safe. So let's just take one breath in here, gather all that information, let it sink into the brain, let it sink into your body. understanding these simple practices that are thousands of years old, and to help you feel more independent in how you move through your life. Thank you for joining me. I try to get videos out as much as I can on this subject. Thank you for joining me. I hope to see you soon. If you like my videos, subscribe to it. It doesn't cost anything. And I have about 200 of them. But thank you anyway, again, and I hope everyone stays well.